Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news from LateNighter.com. We have our first ratings snapshot, Post-Colbert. Who do you think finished first? Of course, Jimmy Kimmel did. Now, this data is from last Monday, the first time that everybody was live and things were kind of fair. Late Nighter tells us, according to Nielsen Live plus same-day data, Jimmy Kimmel dominated the hour with an average 2.185 million total viewers and 295,000 in the 18 to 49s. Boy, only old people like me are watching these things. I mean, 295 in the 18 to 49s. Wow. So comparing Monday, June 1st, 2026 to Monday, June 2nd, 2025, Kimmel was up 53% in total viewers and up 178% among adults 18 to 49. So at 11:35, Kimmel had an 8.3 share, average 2.185 million viewers. Fallon in second place with a little over a 5 share and 1.3 million viewers. Comics Unleashed, 628,000 viewers. Now, before you're like, that's not a lot of people, the big fancy Daily Show with Jon Stewart had 612,000 viewers at 11 o'clock. And then at 12:37 a.m., Late Night with Seth Meyers, 790,000 people. And the new 12:30 Byron Allen thing, Funny You Should Ask. That's now the 12:30 show, 419,000 people. Nightline is winning that time slot with 819,000. More from that Hollywood Reporter comedian roundtable that we were picking at yesterday. Nikki Glaser. The Hollywood Reporter writes, this is the Hollywood Reporter speaking, recently defined her aspirational self as follows: I want to be someone who's smart and effable and adorable and likable and seems nice but is saying awful things. They asked Nikki, did they miss anything? Glaser said, wow, I didn't practice that before I said it. I do want to be liked by everyone because it's a sickness, but I also want to say things that make people feel less alone. I always felt like it was weird. No one was really an example of that on TV, the people that were my role models. And yeah, I want to be effable because it makes people treat you better and give you more money for things. I don't actually want to be effed. I want to be clear about that. I don't want to be, she's getting a little coarse here. I just want the stuff that comes with people wanting to. Feels weird to say that, but who doesn't want to be liked? I've read The Room, and when you look prettier, people are nicer to you. Maron weighed in and said, effable is good. I think I want people to like me, but I seem to want them to work for it for a bit. I'm also very clear that not everyone's going to. There's part of me that thinks I'm from everybody, but I know that's not true. The Hollywood Reporter were asking the comedians, who are your people? How do you define your people? Maron said, it's multi-generations of hand-wringers, sensitive, creative, angry people that feel like they don't have a voice in the world. A lot of them politically active or at least engaged and want to feel a little better. Hollywood Reporter, where won't your audiences go with you? Maron, I push it lately because I get labeled as this progressive. I'm a progressive person, but I'm also an old, dirty man. I mean, I've been in this business a long time, and half of it was drunk. There's a part of me, now that I have this following of sensitive, socially concerned people, that wants to be like, yeah, but I'm kind of dirty. You still like me now? Leanne Morgan said, I don't think I'm qualified to weigh in on politics. Nobody wants to know what I think, and I don't know half the time. I'm just sitting here thinking about how to get through menopause. Harlan Williams having a bit of a moment. He's been around forever, but he was on Rogan recently, and the spokesman caught up with Harlan Williams. He said, you tell a joke and you get your result instantly in the moment versus waiting for years to see a finished animated film. I wanted that immediacy. I wanted that instant feedback, so I knew that stand-up was the right fit for me, so I could get that really quick turnaround on my product. I don't like to get too serious because to me, comedy is silly and fun. I don't want to talk about politics or abortion, all that stuff. I'd rather talk about a frog jumping around on a bag of Doritos or something. Stepping outside of a predetermined routine, it's like I'm almost entertaining myself when I don't know where it's going. I think the audience picks up on that energy that I'm amusing myself, and so they're amused. It's infectious and it's fun. Tim Hawkins told the Christian Post, there's guys who are entrenched in the industry and in the world's entertainment business. It's a dirty place. We're finding that out with certain files, a certain way the world works. Comedy's a lot of fun, but you'd be surprised. I did a little bit of club work starting out. It was a very depressing place. It was filled with drug addicts. It was filled with depressed people. A lot of comedians just have issues. We're not the most positive people in the world all the time. These entertainers are realizing there's more to it, that they've been down these roads, and it doesn't end in a fun place. It doesn't end in a good place. It's like, well, what are the answers? I think it's encouraging. The more clean performers succeed, that helps guys like me. It's really kind of a team thing. There's more opportunities if you're clean. He name-checked Nate Bargatze and Leanne Morgan. There are a lot of people out there that can connect and relate to what I'm talking about. We're not out clubbing. We're home doing family stuff. People laugh harder when they can relate to what you're talking about. Be the same person you are in your living room, making your friends and family laugh. Jeff Foxworthy works clean. He said he was shocked when Fox Nation agreed to bring his act back to smaller clubs. Jeff said, "There's just something about that beer smell. I spent so many years in them, and when it's working on new stuff, I never do it in a big place. It's always a little place because stand-up is intimate. I want the audience actively involved in it. I'm talking to them. Is this funny? Is it not funny?" And I've had a lot of people that were there for those nights in the small club saying that was probably my favorite night of stand-up because I got to be part of it. Jeff explained, "I wasn't just receiving, I'm watching you, thinking, how do I make this better? If you do it well, it looks like you just walked on stage and thought of it that day, which works in the break room when you've shared experience and history with each other, but when you're on stage or in front of strangers, you have to work it. You have to be efficient at it." An example of that, the redneck jokes. He said the redneck jokes helped me to be efficient as a writer because I had to create an entire joke in one sentence because they were one-liners. All right, here's a leftover from Colbert Week. This guy is Brian Stack. He was a writer on The Late Show, and for Conan, he caught up with Chicago Magazine. He talked about his influences. Good list here. Letterman hit me really hard in college. At a younger age, it was things like SCTV, early SNL, Steve Barton, Richard Pryor, Peter Sellers, Monty Python. Great list. The conversation moved to Conan being silly for silly's sake and some of the characters Conan would do. Chicago Mag liked Artie Kendall, the ghost crooner. Brian Stack explains, "That just popped into my head one day. Rockefeller Center had been around since 1930, and these old singers like Bing Crosby were there, and I thought a lot of the views from back then wouldn't be acceptable today. What if there was a guy whose views weren't even acceptable in his own time?" I was trying to make it clear that Artie Kendall was a monster who had been murdered because he was awful. I love doing all the silly characters at Conan, but I'm grateful for some of the newer challenges that I had at Steven's show and learning from people who are so brilliant at political satire. That was never my strong suit, so it was interesting and fun to try and develop that voice more. But it was an adjustment, especially when Trump came along, because that caught us all so off guard by how much we had to think about one particular guy. They then talked about Conan's 9-month run on The Tonight Show. Stack said, "As happy as I was for Conan, they got the opportunity to do the show they'd always wanted to do. I always felt like we were all better suited to something that was on a little bit later, had a little bit less of a high profile." I'll chime in, and I think in retrospect, that's crystal clear. Conan once said that The Tonight Show is like a big, beautiful ship that's a little hard to maneuver. It moves very slowly, and it's very large and bulky. When we got to the TBS show, it was more like being on a little cigarette boat that can flip around and do whatever you want. I think that's where we always felt more comfortable. I don't remember anyone imposing any restrictions on us at The Tonight Show, but there's something about it as an institution that made us a little self-conscious about some of the stuff we were trying. So while I wish Conan had gotten a shot at The Tonight Show that we all know he deserved and the time to develop it the way the other hosts did, I always loved the freedom to mess around like we're up in an attic and no one's paying attention. And the Toronto Guardian does this series, Tragedy Plus Time, where they talk to local Toronto comedians. One local Toronto comedian is Olena Fox, known for bold, sex-positive storytelling and sharp Eastern European honesty. Her influences: Matt Rife for his fearless crowd work, Louis C.K. for turning personal life and relationships into sharp comedy, and of course the Ukrainian women who survived everything and still make jokes. Favorite comedian right now? I'm really inspired by Matt Rife for his stage presence and crowd interactions, and Che Durena for his disgusting but delicious humor. Pre-show ritual, lipstick, deep breath, and an internal pep talk, which is, Olena, you survived immigration and divorce. You can survive people looking at you for 10 minutes. And that is your comedy news for today. All right, it's June, so you're sharing the show with a friend. You've been doing this, right? Because I'm going to check in. I'm going to come to your house and be like, hey, show me who you shared the show with. And if you start going, I meant to, and around the time we're gonna have an issue. You don't want me showing up at your house, do you? No. So just share the show with somebody. And you can follow the show on Spotify. Turn notifications on so you never miss an episode. And you can comment there, and you can comment in the Facebook group, Daily Comedy News Podcast Group. I will see you tomorrow.